At 4ZZZ, we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we broadcast. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging of the Turrbal and Jagera people. We acknowledge that their sovereignty over this land was never ceded.
And we stand in solidarity with them.
You're listening to Transmission on 4ZZZ, amplifying the trans and gender non-conforming voices of Brisbane and beyond.
Good morning out there. You're listening to 4ZZZ, and this is Transmission. It's your boy here, Sev. My pronouns are he, him, and they, them. And Transmission is our show dedicated to amplifying the voices of the trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming community here in Meanjin and further afield. Starting the show, huge thank you to Jeff from Carina Heights, our brand new 4ZZZ subscriber. The bells and whistles and lights are going off in here, and it is always the most heartwarming and delighting start to my morning to see somebody joining the 4ZZZ family. So thank you, Jeff. You are my personal hero for today. And if you would like to be my personal hero on another day and you're not yet a member of the 4ZZZ family, it is always a great time to subscribe. And this month, the prize that you go into the draw to potentially win, if you subscribe, looks absolutely excellent. It is a $200 gift card for Wilston Village Bar. So support local radio, be my hero, and potentially win $200 for Wilston Village Bar. What are you waiting for, friends? Head on over to 4ZZZ.org.au/support. Or if you like the people-powered touch, feel free to get in touch with our reception, either in person or give us a call on the old blower. We do still do that occasionally. I also have some news and events to discuss, but what I wanted to do, a rare opportunity. I spend so much of my time in the show absolutely determined that I only want to focus on trans voices, trans experiences, because that's what the show exists for and deserves to exist for. But on rare occasions, I am reminded of the power of being an open book and available for allies and for people with questions. It can be really helpful to have somebody who will answer good faith questions. So today, and today only, I am inviting you, listeners of Transmission, if you're out there and you have questions about the trans experience, in fact, questions about trans life at all, today I'm welcoming you to text in and ask your questions, and if I am capable of answering them, I will. Any question asked in good faith. Please don't come at me with your nonsense. Daddy doesn't have time for it today. But if you have a question in good faith about anything trans-related, I would love to hear from you, because I know that it can be really hard to ask the questions when you're an ally and you don't want to get it wrong, and when you're trying to support the trans people in your life that you love, but you don't know necessarily how best to do that. It can be hard to know where to look or who to talk to. Get in touch with us and let me know what your burning questions are about trans experiences, trans lives, the experience of transitioning, or what you can do to be a better ally. I am here and I would love to get those discussions rolling. In the meantime, in trans news, England's National Health Service has banned the use of puberty blockers for trans youth nationwide. The decision has sparked massive debate in England and across the world, much of it deeply transphobic, as the political climate continues to fuel culture war around trans lives and rights to and access to healthcare. Less than 100 young people in England were being prescribed the now banned puberty blockers by their gender specialists at the time of this decision. The NHS has not stated if it will restrict access to puberty blockers for cis youth who also use them. Here in Australia, a new study confirms that 99% of trans children are happy with their gender-affirming care. The University of Western Australia and Perth Children's Hospital just published a brand new peer-reviewed study of 548 children seeking gender-affirming care. It found that 99% of children who accessed medical care continued with it throughout the study and reported being happy with their care. Locally, in LGBTQIA+ news, the Australian Transgender Support Association of Queensland have called upon the Queensland Government to immediately implement the administrative reforms necessary to trigger the implementation of last year's reforms contained in the Births, Deaths and Marriages Registration Act. Given that 9 months have elapsed since the passage of the reforms, there appear to be no valid reason as to why the change is taking so long. And on looking further into this and reading the statement put out by the Australian Transgender Support Association Queensland, it does appear that the reasons given for the delay in implementing the changes needed to support trans folks in births, deaths and marriages and changes to their certificates, the system needs implementation, and they would need technology upgrades in order to be able to implement a system to allow easier changing of these records. As such, only a major investment into technological upgrades will allow them to actually serve the trans and gender diverse community, an issue that was raised right at the beginning of these discussions and recognised, and apparently nothing has been done to rectify. So, yeah, we are hoping that that gets resolved as quickly as possible. Finally, the local community is in mourning this week after the passing of local drag legend Trixie Lamont and trailblazing AIDS activist Phil Carswell, who both sadly passed away this week. Brisbane Pride has released a statement that read, "Both were extraordinary individuals who contributed immensely and in vastly different ways to our community, and they will be deeply missed." That's the trans news this Thursday. It's actually a Tuesday morning. The trans news this Tuesday morning.
Amplifying the voices of the trans and gender non-conforming community of Meanjin, Brisbane and beyond.
Transmission on 4ZZZ brings you the latest in trans community news, music and events.
Every Tuesday from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m.
Join our team of hosts for an hour of celebrating the unique perspectives of the trans community.
Transmission, Tuesday mornings from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. on 4ZZZ.
My name's Sev. My pronouns are he and they. And Transmission is all about amplifying the voices of our local trans, non-binary and gender diverse communities. And this week, in events that are very welcoming to our communities, we've got the Heart and Rockets launch party, the launch party for The Promise. That's on Thursday, March 21st, this Thursday at the Beardo, the Bearded Lady in Meanjin, supported by Queerbait and Horoboros, so you know it's going to be excellent. It's from 8 p.m. and it's $15 and plus booking fee, so get on top of that one. And if live music isn't the vibe this Thursday, but live hectic queer-ass performance art is. It is the grand finale of Ultimate Showdown Meanjin this Thursday, 21st of March at the Bright Side. If you haven't caught any of these shows, then my goodness, this is the opportunity. This is the one. Get your butts to the Bright Side. It's going to be truly excellent. Incredible fringe performance artists from multiple disciplines have all been battling it out week after week, and now the grand final brings all of the very favourite pieces and performers back together right at the end for one winner-takes-all battle royale. It's going to be truly excellent. A big night of absolute queer performance art chaos. Loads of judges, loads of prizes, and a couple of excellent hosts, if I do say so myself, because one of them is me. Also we have this Sunday, the 24th of March, we have Gay Skate for Every Bunny. Gay Skate is a vibrant celebration of queer culture featuring live DJs and diverse friendly community of skaters. Skateaway is a super cute traditional rink offering nightclub lighting, great music and disco vibes. It's also space for snacking and spectating. So that happens at the Albany Creek Skateway on March 24th from 5 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. and it's only $14.50. So go have a wholesome old gay skate. Lastly, in not so much events, but this is a bit of a call to action, and I'm going to be looking into this a little bit further later today. I've only just stumbled across this today, but I thought it was important and interesting. So, the Australian Human Rights Commission is currently conducting a national investigation mapping threats to trans and gender diverse human rights. They are accepting submissions from relevant specialists and civil society organisations. The Australian Human Rights Commission has said they want to hear about anti-trans mobilisation and disinformation, experiences of trans people accessing education, employment, etc., anti-trans discrimination, abuse and violence. So if you're a trans organisation or a specialist like a health or legal professional, academic, a service provider, the Australian Human Rights Commission wants to hear from you. Please make a submission by 12th of April. Now, that's all the information I have on that currently. I will be doing some digging into it further, and I will report on it again before that end date. But if that's something that you believe you'd be able to contribute to, that is currently underway. And if you need a direct link to that, you can find it through Transjustice AU, through their socials. Excellent. Well, once again, reminding you that I am opening up the inbox today. So if you would like to text in, if you have any burning questions to ask a trans man, please, I'm all ears. And I feel like I don't hang a lantern on this or mention it as often as I should. So this is your reminder. All of the music we play on Transmission is by trans, non-binary and gender diverse artists, every single track. So it is so important to me not only to share that information, but if you hear something that you love on this show, please go stream it elsewhere and download it as well in future. Like, support trans artists, support trans musicians. They're out here doing the most with the least support. So please, my call to action for you all today is, if all you do is choose one artist off of today's Transmission show that you are going to add to your own personal collection, you will be doing trans artists everywhere a great service.
How many genders are there?
I don't know. I just got here.
This is Transmission. My name's Sev, and my pronouns are he and they. And thanks so much for being with us here on the Zeds. Today I am just celebrating some of my very favourite musical releases from trans, non-binary and gender non-conforming artists, celebrating the excellence, art and creativity of the trans community here at home in Meanjin, further afield in so-called Australia and across the world. Now, my darlings out there, if you are trying to text in and I am not reading them, my apologies. We have had patchy issues going on with our text line overnight. I am also now getting inundated with texts that were clearly meant for some shows throughout the night. So I do just want to let y'all know, if you're trying to reach out to us and we're not responding, I am so sorry. We are looking into it. And if you didn't get your shout out, know that it's not because we don't love you. We absolutely love you. And we probably love you, even more if you're a subscriber whose beautiful name is popping up in my list of texts right now. So I'm sorry that we haven't been able to get to all of those, and we will do our best to get through them throughout the day. So grateful for you all out there listening. Hope your day is shaping up to be a good one. Please remember to hydrate, take care of yourself, take a sippy sip and be sun safe, because taking care of ourselves is the first step in taking care of our community and the world around us. My name's Sev. Thanks so much for being here with us. But just before I say goodbye and close off, I wanted to loop back round to one of the topics I brought up in our events section earlier, just because so often people out there are asking me, what can allies do to support the trans community, knowing that our rights are regularly challenged and stripped away from us, knowing that England has just banned access to puberty blockers for young trans people, knowing that America is constantly fighting bills that will remove trans people's rights. What can we do here in Australia to support and protect our trans community, our trans youth? This Australian Human Rights Commission national investigation does seem like an excellent opportunity for, if you've seen something, if you know that there are threats to trans and gender diverse human rights here in Australia, you have observed it in a work setting, in a clinical setting, in an employment setting, this is your opportunity to report that. whether you think it was a huge thing that you witnessed or a small thing that you witnessed, trans and gender diverse people are constantly at risk from this level of social and governmental control, which dictates our rights and access to healthcare, our ability to move freely throughout the world. You have an opportunity right now to report to the Australian Human Rights Commission if you have seen anything that the AHRC have said they want to hear about: anti-trans mobilisation and disinformation, the experiences of trans people accessing education, employment, and anti-trans discrimination, abuse and violence. So if you're a trans organisation, a specialist like a health or legal professional, an academic, a service provider, you have until the 12th of April to make your submission and do your bit to support trans rights here in Australia. So please do look into that further if that is something you as an ally can contribute to. Because remember, allyship is not a state of being, it is an action. Allyship takes work, and the work needs to be put in by those who have the power and the privilege to stand up for us. Please do so. Thank you. This has been Transmission, amplifying the voices of the trans, gender non-conforming and non-binaries community here in Meanjin and beyond. Thank you so much for being with us. My name's been Sev. I'll be back. Transmission is with you same time, same place, every Tuesday morning, and we'll be here. I will also be around on Thursday nights from 10 p.m. for The Spiral. So if you want to get hot and heavy with me then, see ya there.
Thank you so much for listening to Transmission. See you next Tuesday, 9 to 10 a.m. on 4ZZZ.